Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here to talk about another Kindle sample. I have a giant pile of Kindle samples, virtually speaking, and I keep trying to get through them, and it keeps growing despite all my best efforts. So, the Kindle sample this time is this one. Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect by Roger Williams, not the founder of the college. Googling his name was a challenge. But yeah, the Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect. Sounds like some good science fiction. The cover image doesn't tell us a whole lot. We got this shack with a bunch of stars. Very nice, lovely. But what's interesting on the cover is we have, at the very top, we have a question, right? I don't often see covers with this, which say, if you could have anything, would you still want it? Now that's an interesting question to pose to our readers. Like, oh wow, if I could have anything, would I still want it? I mean, maybe? I don't know. It's tough. It makes me think of what I want. And if I could have that simply by having it, I expect that the sort of thought train that question is leading us down might be expecting the answer of the only things that are really worth having are the things that you work for and strive for and search for. So I expect it's kind of that very, I want to say Puritan work ethic of the things that you work for are the things that you have value. That have value to you, and things that you could just get don't really have any value. Maybe that's what's in the book. I don't know. And the other little subtitle is The Controversial Novel of the Singularity. So first of all, that's gutsy, putting controversial novel right on the cover of your own novel. Nicely done. Maybe it is. I don't know. And the singularity, of course, is that potential AI future where artificial intelligence or artificial consciousness becomes complex enough to sort of start changing itself, and we don't know what that future is going to look like. We can't predict that future. So it takes its name from physics, where at a certain point in physics, like in black holes in the beginning of the universe, we don't have the science to tell us what happens beyond that. So anyway, so yeah, it sounds very, very chunky. Sounds very, very philosophical, this book. So hey, why not? Philosophical sci-fi. It is the backbone of science fiction, so I'm looking forward to it. All right. So with that, let me read the sample, and I'll get right back to you. Okay? Hang in there. Okay. I kind of see where this is going. I kind of see it. I think. Maybe. It feels like The Good Place, but in a bad way. Let me explain. The setting is in, I guess, cyberspace. It is a very cyberspace, maybe cyberpunk sort of story. And it seems like everybody is basically a mind in cyberspace. Do they have a body? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. But everybody lives in cyberspace. Our main character is Carolyn Frances Hubert. Can't read my own handwriting. Carolyn Frances Hubert, who is the 37th oldest human out of 4 trillion with a T, right? If you thought now we've got about, 8 billion people on the planet, if you feel that 8 billion was a lot, try 14 trillion. So that is a lot of people, and she's the 37th oldest of all of them. And she is known as Queen of the Death Jockeys. And we learned pretty quickly that Caroline, one of her hobbies, I suppose, or callings, is to design sort of death traps, to design challenges for other people to come and navigate these sort of virtual spaces that she creates where you can die, right? But of course you can't die because you are a mind in cyberspace. You have no physical existence to worry about. This isn't the Matrix, right? Where you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. The death jockeys, I think, challenge each other to create these circumstances and like obstacle courses, kind of. And in this sample, she is challenged by this guy named Timothy, who challenges her to a death match. And she finds it just pedantically easy and, in fact, allows herself to die, basically just so she doesn't have to go through the rest of it. And it's people experiencing death for fun, which, again, kind of calls back to that question on the cover, right? If you could have anything, would you want it? And the idea that people would experience death for just the fun of experiencing death suggests to me that this cyber culture, this online culture, is something has gone really, really wrong. When seeking out your own destruction is a form of entertainment, and watching other people seek out their own destruction is a form of entertainment as well. I think there may be some corollary to sort of how we watch on the internet. We do watch people basically take risks, maybe not necessarily fatal risks, but we do like to watch people kind of mess up their lives and screw themselves up, and do sort of take really, really big swings that we can watch and be entertained by, but for them is a change in their whole life. So yeah, it's a short sample is the thing, right? There's not a ton to talk about except for Caroline, who's a great character. She's sort of the grizzled old veteran, right? She doesn't want to put up with any youngin's nonsense in this, but is nevertheless willing to step up to this challenge from this Timothy guy. But we're introduced to the Prime Intellect. The Prime Intellect is basically cyberspace. It is the computer intelligence that controls the cyberspace in which they all exist. And that's kind of all we know, is that that's what Prime Intellect is and does. And so the title, The Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect, suggests that if the computer that controls the world and houses these 14 trillion souls, if it is changing, if it is undergoing metamorphosis, then what effect is that going to have on these people who don't live in the real world anymore? Is Caroline going to be some sort of catalyst for change? Is she so fed up with being alive as long as she has? Is she so fed up with just this degradation of her society that she sort of pokes the Prime Intellect and manages to make it change and do something different? Maybe people really can die. I don't know. But I think, like I said, it reminded me in a way of The Good Place. And if you haven't seen The Good Place, it is an excellent TV show, but it also explores the idea of at a certain point, it does explore the idea of what would happen to us if we just had paradise forever. And the answer to that is we get real bored and we kind of start to lose ourselves. And so I'm wondering if this book will kind of head in that direction, right? 14 trillion people who can live out a perfect existence. What is that like? And what does that do to a person? Now, there's a lot that I don't know, right? A lot of cyberpunk stories that involve people living virtually, people living in cyberspace, also have really, really strong class concepts, right? There's the people with a lot of money who can afford more computer space, more memory space, more interesting equipment and vehicles, and the ability to travel cyberspace more freely. And then there's the people who don't have all those resources and maybe just have your sort of blank functional avatar or something like that. A lot of cyberpunk stories explore that, and especially how the lower classes, people who don't have a lot of money and resources, try to struggle against the people who have power and who control that cyberspace. So one thing I'm wondering is existence within the Prime Intellect, is it egalitarian? Does everyone have access to all the same resources? Are there people who hoard resources? Are there people who are barely scraping by? So I kind of want to know what that society is going to look like, and it would be interesting to see how this evolves. Of course, the title, The Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect, is an interesting one as well, because if the entity that controls this place is changing, then the place by its nature must change, and people are going to have to react to that. And 14 trillion people are going to react in 14 trillion different ways. And so I expect that our main character is going to either, I figure, prompt Prime Intellect to change, or is going to try to stop Prime Intellect from changing to a point where it can't hold on to all these people. Maybe the Prime Intellect is done sort of being the entertainer of 14 trillion people and says, you know what, I've got other things I want to do right now. I'm going to start deleting user accounts. I have no idea. I don't know where this story is going. It does seem pretty neat. I'm looking forward to seeing how it becomes controversial, as it says on the cover. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a nice read. It's a short sample. I think I would certainly pick this up. If you've read this, if you have any thoughts and opinions and insights, are my predictions on track? Are they wildly off base? I'm happy either way. But get down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the book. In the meantime, please subscribe. Please come back. And I think that's about it for this one. Yeah, short, simple, to the point. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.